Hey everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Deep Dive with OA. We're talking about my career path, and my name is Omar. Today we're going to talk about my journey with Careem. In 2018, I left my role with the media agency that I was running as CEO, Brainchild, in Pakistan. We'd had some challenges that I wasn't able to overcome to my own satisfaction. And at the same time, a friend of mine, Asad, was kind of talking to me about potentially joining Careem as their marketing director. And although it was a step down for me, in terms of going from a CEO role to a marketing director role, I could feel the pull of working in a startup again. You know, it had taken me 5 years to recover from the massive failure that I had in the period 2010 to 2014, with one of my companies basically leaving me bankrupt and having to sell my house. And 5 years in, I was kind of feeling that the bug raising its head again. I could feel the pull of working for a startup, especially one as beautiful and on the way to becoming something massive like Careem. So for those of you who don't know, Careem is a ride-hailing service, or started out as a ride-hailing service. It was launched in 2012 by two entrepreneurs, Mudassir and Magnus, and they were both ex-consultants based in Dubai. They hired a tech team in Pakistan to start building an app, and then they launched. And when I joined in 2018, we were in full scaling mode. The company had raised quite a bit of money over the years as investments. The goal in Pakistan was customer acquisition and captain acquisition, and so in the span of a year and a half that I was at Careem, we focused on maximizing the number of customers we brought onto the app. So Careem closed that out at 22 million app downloads, which made it at that time in 2019, when the acquisition happened, the most downloaded app in Pakistan. And at the same time, we had to scale up the supply side of the business, or what we called captains, what Uber called drivers. And we had to bring a massive number of drivers onto the platform. So at one time, we were approaching almost 1 million drivers on the platform. People made so much money with Careem because of the incentives we were paying out. Imagine buying a new Toyota Corolla in Pakistan, that's considered a luxury car, and having it paid off in a year. People set up fleets in the span of 3 or 4 or 5 years thanks to the Careem incentives. So there was a massive societal impact of this ride-hailing company. Speaking of societal impact, one of the most amazing things about Careem was its focus on the 4 C's. So it started out with customers, having an obsession with helping customers have a good experience with their Careem journey, before, during, and after. Then there were captains, there were communities, and I'm forgetting the last one. Oh, Careemers, right? Employees. So um, it was an amazing company, and they were really looking to do good while they were building the business. So, for example, when we started launching Careem Rewards, which would then later become, sort of the starting point of the Careem Super App, we built into the rewards from day one the ability for people to donate books, donate food, donate gas to refugees, plant trees. It was a vehicle, no pun intended, literally for doing good. For example, we did a partnership with an organization called the Citizens Foundation, TCF, in Pakistan. Now they run about 2,000 schools. We created a car type called the TCF car type, and in 1 year, so customers were paying an extra 30 rupees per ride. They were happy to do it, and Careem matched that donation. And in 1 year, we gathered almost 12 million rupees, which was enough at that time to start 2 schools. So just an incredible company focused on maximizing impact. The founders were the most humble and down-to-earth people. They sat in one office. You could just knock and walk in and say, "Hi, how you guys doing?" And they would, unless they were really like in the middle of something, they would sit and "How you doing? What's up? What are your challenges?" Blah blah blah. Really accessible. The company was in massive growth mode. The head office in Dubai was on multiple floors of a building in Media City, and then they were opening tech offices in Berlin and Lahore, and it was just growing exponentially. And then the acquisition happened. It was announced in I want to say August of 2019, and the deal was closed at the end of December. It was a $3.1 billion acquisition that sent shockwaves, not just in the region, but around the world, because such a massive exit had not been seen in the region ever, and actually has not been seen since either. We hope it's not a flash in the pan, but I was just lucky to be there and part of it. There were many challenges of working at Careem. The way the P&L statements for the company were set up, all the revenue was accrued by the individual cities. And so all the expenses were also paid out from the individual cities. So the marketing budget, for example, was actually sitting in the cities. So if I am the national marketing director and I want to conduct a national marketing campaign, I actually have to go and ask each of the individual cities to get behind the campaign. And if one of them felt like, I'd rather spend this money on, running some promo, that would be it. It was hugely challenging. So there was a lot of politics involved. There was a lot of, oh, if I do this for you, what are you going to do for me? Kind of, thinking. Our team was quite big. We had, 15, 20 people across all the spectrums of marketing, including social media management. We used to do our own creative, mostly in-house, although we did try, external partners occasionally, and some of those experiments worked, others didn't. The thought process at Careem was, if it's worth doing, let's do it internally. And there's some major positives to that. But like I said, quite a lot of politics. Very, very young people, very aggressive people. Some of them on their first jobs, super empowered. And oftentimes collaboration was a real challenge. And there was butting of heads going on all the time. Most of the time it was resolved, very quickly, very amicably. And sometimes it wasn't resolved, issues just were either put to one side or, just disregarded altogether. And the reality is, for me, it was a tough journey. I tried very, very hard to build trust with teams that I was collaborating with. With some of them, I was successful. With others, not so much. But that's the startup world. Everyone was running full tilt. No one was really that interested in, trying to collaborate on bigger picture goals, because their KPIs were fixed to their particular geographies and their particular challenges. And so, trying to get stuff done at a national level, or even at a global level for Careem, was extremely challenging. The global marketing team, who I used to meet, almost every month, if not every other week, faced exactly the same challenges when they were trying to roll out the new Careem positioning and, trying to create a unified positioning for the brand across all markets. It has to be said, though, that the main reason that Uber was forced to acquire Careem, could not defeat them in market, was the brand itself. The brand was this beautiful, shiny creature that customers loved because it spoke to them like a human. It had a sense of humor. It was cheeky and irreverent, and it would basically, go out of their way to keep it lighthearted, but at the same time, keep it real. And we used to get into trouble for this all the time. There was barely a month that went by that we didn't have to apologize to someone or something about a campaign that we had run. One of them was, an election promo code that we had done. One of the political parties got really offended with the promo code that we had come up for them, and they actually initiated a hashtag delete Careem campaign, and our app downloads went up. There was another campaign where we were trying to goose motorcycle rides in Punjab, and we tried some provocative creative ideas. One of them showed a girl on a bike running away from her own wedding, and that one really blew up in our faces. Oh my God. My boss and I had to leave the country for a week. We had death threats, and it was the worst time of my life when when security comes to your desk and says, hey, let's go, and then they escort you to your home. You pack a bag and apologize to your family, and then you are rushed to the airport, and in a span of 5 hours you're in Dubai. The family was basically given protection. There were guards at the house, and just to make sure that nobody didn't become overly dangerous. But that's how far sometimes we push the envelope, and we never knew how where the backlash was going to come. But as Junaid told me in one of our conversations, he said, Omar, there's going to be 3 types of people. 1/3 of your respondents will love what you're doing. They'll have a good laugh. They'll share it with other people. 1/3 will just shrug their shoulders and say, they're just they're at it again. And then 1/3 are going to come after you because they're going to hate what you did. And that's all right. We're not trying to be everything to everyone. And that was phenomenal. That is a brand truth for any brand trying to make a difference in the lives of people. You can't be everything to everyone, because you end up just being lukewarm soup. It doesn't mean much. So the Careem journey Left me with some great friends, people that I'm in touch with till today. We talk regularly. There's always stuff to catch up on, and the acquisition led to most of the team leaving, so we went from 3,000 people down to I think 1,200 prior to the acquisition. The entire marketing organization left, including me. And then came the diaspora creation effect, right? So like PayPal in the early 2000s created, the PayPal mafia created hundreds of companies in the US. Careem's affectionately known as the Careem mafia as well, has created literally hundreds of companies across the region, across the Middle East and Pakistan, and North Africa. It's been phenomenal driver of the entrepreneurial ecosystem, not only with expertise but with investments. A lot of people from who benefited from the Careem exit have become angel investors, and some of them have actually become VCs, proper VCs, joined VC firms or set up their own VC funds and are investing now regularly in the in startups around the region. So the Careem journey was a massive roller coaster. There were days that we didn't sleep. I remember one particular day we had set ourselves a target of achieving 500,000 rides in one day across the country. Our average at the time was about 300,000, with about 100,000 each coming from Karachi, Lahore, Islamabad, and then a little bit from the rest of the country. So we said, okay, let's really push ourselves. Let's see how much we can do if we go all out. So we spent a couple of weeks, putting together consumer promotions, captain promotions, getting demand and supply lined up, telling people if you take a ride on this day, it's 50% off, whatever. Like we tried everything. We didn't get to 500. We got to 493,000, and my team and I were up the whole night running Facebook Live sessions, entertaining customers who were bored at 3 a.m. by playing chess or by playing loud music or whatever, shadow dancing. It was crazy. And then we all went home and slept for a day. But that was the kind of thing that Careem encouraged and loved. They loved stunts, they loved crazy ideas. Nothing was too crazy to try. And for me, it was like going through a crash course in startup excellence. The company exited at a beautiful time. I think a year later, the exit would have been impossible, and a year earlier, the exit would have been suboptimal. So they really maximized value for the shareholders, including the employees. And my overwhelming feeling when I think about Careem is one of gratitude that I was able to be a part of this journey. My marketing team, people like Majid, Ibad, Furqan, Tanya, the creative boys and girls, they were just rock stars. A couple of them have immigrated since then to Canada. A few people have moved on and done their own startups. It's just been, one of those life-affirming, life-changing stints in your career that you just cannot forget. And so, thank you, Mudassir, Magnus, and Abdullah for creating something beautiful. Thank you to all the Careem Pakistan team members that made this a truly memorable journey. Junaid is now, one of the sharks on Shark Tank Pakistan, so I'm looking forward to seeing him in action again. Asad has joined a well-funded health tech startup based out of Saudi Arabia. A couple of the other boys from Islamabad and Lahore, Omar and Asad, I believe. Omar is running a well-funded startup out of Karachi or Lahore, I'm not sure actually. And Shahzad is in Dubai. Everyone has done very well for themselves and are out there creating an impact, which has always been the vision and mission of Careem. So I hope you found this to be an interesting part of the journey. Leaving Careem post-acquisition was tough. I went on to literally the day after I joined, I left Careem. I joined Grana as a CMO, and that'll be the subject of my next video. I will talk to you guys soon. Let me know if you have any questions about the Careem journey. I'm happy to answer them as best as I can. Take care, and see you on the other side.